Hi everyone, today I thought I'd do a fake it till you make it makeup look. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I was asked to do an event recently and I haven't done anything like that for ages. I used to do that sort of thing all the time. And it was to go and do a sort of interview and to meet people I've never met before and to have some photographs taken. And again, this is something that I probably did do a lot of before the pandemic. And I found myself backing away from it, saying, can't they do it via Zoom? And I was quite surprised at my initial reaction. And afterwards I was trying to think, was it because I was being lazy? Is it because I don't want to, unlike, I guess, going to like a shoot or my normal work, which is a bit more of a comfort zone thing where I can go and people are looking at my work, as in my makeup work. It's not about me necessarily. Whereas something like that, I guess it's more like a new job or a situation where you're going into a meeting with strangers and you have to bring very much your best self. And I just concluded that I'm out of practice with it. It may be a bit of laziness for sure. Have got a bit lazy, doing the Zooms, and that you can get away with maybe not bringing your big best self because you can say, well, I'm at home, so I'm just in tracksuit bottoms, I haven't got much makeup on. And it was a little bit of anxiety about going out into the world again and presenting myself and having to kind of bring it. So I was thinking about that, and I have now accepted it and said I'd do it. So I was thinking I'll do a makeup look, like a practice run almost for that today, and just talk a little bit about this idea about makeup and confidence and this situation we find ourselves in, really coming out of the pandemic, on one hand quite euphoric that something like that is even going to take place, but on the other hand feeling very resistant to it, almost like trying to just peek out from inside my little rabbit hole and wanting to bury myself again. So I've just done my moisturizer. I'm using this moisturizing gel, which I've used before, which is nice and light for the summer for my particular skin type. And then for me, for confidence, I definitely need a bit of foundation because I want to feel like I don't look greasy and that my skin has an even skin tone. So I'm going to try something I haven't used before, but it has got lots of good reviews. And this is the Shiseido Synchro, which is self-refreshing foundation. And this is the shade Bamboo, which I'd say I have almost got a bit of a tan at the moment. I think it's just from walking around. I haven't been anywhere, but just from being around London. So I'm going to put a light layer of this all over. And this idea, I think, of confidence boosting makeup it's the sort of thing that a journalist would ask me, like, what's your quote on confidence boosting makeup, that you can tell everyone? And I think I would probably say it's going to be so different for everyone because we all have our own unique set of hang-ups or worries, or we know what makes us feel good. So I think for me, it would definitely be having my skin look natural, but having it look just even and perfected to a certain degree, particularly around the center of my face, which is where I tend to get a little bit red. But it would also be being not too shiny for me, but that's a hangover from my extremely oily days, I think, for most of my life, having oily skin, although it's now, of course, not as oily, but it still has the ability to look a little greasy. So I am going to start with that. So that's just a thin layer all over. I'll have to do a touch on my neck because I went for something a little bit warmer, which I feel is my summer colour, but of course my neck there is quite light. This feels really nice. It definitely has a good coverage, but without looking like it's definitely evened out my skin tone. I'm just going to have a close-up look of this. Yeah, that's really quite perfected my skin. It's really evened everything out. Probably still a touch shiny on my center of my face, but I will give it a little powder later on. So I think for me now it's just, I'm going to do a little bit more skin stuff and then move on to the eyes. Just going to do a tiny bit of highlighter, just while that's almost still, I'm still working on my skin side of things. I think for me, if the skin looks good and my eyes look big and awake, then that's going to really help me to feel like I'm faking this confident look. Next to my under eyes, I'm going to use this Bare Minerals, and this is the Stick Foundation in Medium Warm 7. This is quite yellowy, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit under my eyes and just pat that in. So as I was saying, when I get asked for this, like, what is this ultimate confidence boosting makeup? The reason it's different for every single person, and you cannot make one statement for everyone, is that everyone has got their own bugbears. So for me, I guess under my eyes wouldn't be a big bugbear, because, you know, I'm quite fortunate that I'm not too dark under there with other people. It is their thing. So you need to really spend time on the thing that is bothering you, or the thing that is something that holds your confidence back. Like, if I'm going to fake it till I make it, I want my skin to look really, really good. That's my priority. And then I want my eyes to look big and open, and I want my lower lip to look bigger. And that's just me, okay? That's me personally talking. But it is nailing those things that for you are the things that just make you feel good. And it can be anything. It can be a touch of mascara and I feel good, and that's fantastic. You know, it's whatever is your thing. It's really owning your key to confidence is a very personal thing. So just to do some pinpoint concealing, this foundation has done a really nice job of evening out everything, apart from just, oh, that's too dark. Yikes. Just need a bit more coverage there, I'd say. Centre of chin, and then just some small things, little marks here and there. Just going to lighten up around my nose, which is where I have a few capillaries, broken capillaries there. And just pat that in. And I definitely feel before I do my first few going to meet strangers and these kind of things, I think I'll probably spend quite a while on my makeup, because for me it's almost like a cathartic thing to sit down and just do my face and spend a bit of time. It will give me time to think about things and get a good sense of how I'm feeling. Not that I think you should spend a lot of time doing your makeup, you know, to be able to face the world. Not at all. God, you know, it just depends how you're feeling. And I just think, for me, I think for this kind of fake it till you make it type of makeup look, it means that if it goes on quickly and it's easy, fine. But I'll allow a bit more time in case I want to tweak things or step back and maybe alter things and just make sure that I'm really happy with it. So I'll probably allow a little more time to get ready. So in the spirit of using new things, I'm going to use this palette by Sydney Grace and Temptalia. And I really wanted to try this because Christina from Temptalia, I just thought if anyone can make a good palette, she can, because she must have reviewed every single eyeshadow palette that's existed in the last at least 10 years. I like these shades here. So I like these kind of the matte and the sort of shiny minky colour, slightly a little bit duochrome in there. So I'm going to try something around these sorts of shades. So I'm going to start with this shade. Oh yeah, very good payoff. Right, that's shinier than I thought it was going to be, but nice nonetheless. So I'm just going to do eyelids with that. That's definitely more about a pop. And then I'm going to use the matte shade. So this is a matte violet. So I'm just going to do this really softly, bit by bit. Just resting my eyebrow so I can see that I can actually see the shape. And just tapping that on. Because I'm probably only going to use 2 shades, keep it quite simple. So because I'm not using any kind of a transition shade, it means that I have to go slowly with this one. And really blend. Use the same shade a little bit underneath as well. I always like to have just a wash of colour, me personally, underneath my eyes, because if I do mascara, my lower lashes are quite fine. So when I do mascara on them, they're very separated because they are quite sparse and thin, and they can look a little bit too much, almost too defined. Whereas if I have a little wash underneath, it just gives a bigger eye, illusion of a bigger eye, but also it kind of frames the lashes and gives them a little bit more bulk. So now that I've sort of finished the basic shape, I'm just checking, looking straight ahead in the mirror, that I'm liking the shape that I'm getting from the eye socket sort of definition. And just going back in if I need to. Because if I do it when my eyes are up, and obviously I can't walk around like that the whole time, so put more of a natural face on, then I can see where the shading is. So that's good for now. I'm just going to quickly curl my eyelashes and do my mascara and put a couple of lashes on, which will cheer me up no end, make me feel like I'm raring to go. I'm going to use underneath a base of, this is one of those white bases, just to give myself a little more lash. Been very lazy on the lash serum after being brilliant during the lockdown. Then I got out of the habit when things got busy again. And now I'm kicking myself, of course. Just going to put a light layer of this on. And just let that dry for a couple of moments. Obviously, I have tried out quite a lot of brand new products today, which I definitely wouldn't recommend if you're having to bring your A game and you are wanting to have a confidence boost, because there's nothing worse than trying a new mascara or trying a new foundation, for example, and finding out during the day that it hasn't quite worked for you. So I think definitely only ever use your most tried and trusted products. Or if you want to use something new, definitely give it a little trial run the day before, like I'm doing now, because I don't really have to go anywhere today. So I'm able to see how all my products perform. So next for lashes, I'm going to do some little bundles of individuals, which have just dropped out of the box. Sorry, hold on a minute. Oh, here you are. They look like this. These are called Lash Star. Not used them before. And they look perfect. They're just going to fill in any gaps and give me a nice lashy look. These are a bit longer actually than I would normally wear. But I think a few of these, they're nice and lightweight. a few just at the outer edge. Probably only do 3 or 4, but we'll have a look. Okay, I'll just have to stop for a second because these are phenomenal. I think these are the nicest eyelashes I've tried in a long time. I'll need to further investigate. I almost wish I hadn't put as much mascara on now. I kind of overkilled on the mascara, thinking I was just going to fill in a couple of gaps, but I think knowing how beautiful these are. Where's the box? I want to just, oh, here we go. So they're Lash Star, and they're called Visionary Flare Lashes. Sculpt your perfect lash look. I am here for this. Okay, I'm just going to finish my second eye. I have got a video on how to apply individual lashes, which I'll link to below, because otherwise it takes probably 15 minutes. It would make the tutorial quite long to show every single, well, it takes me a while anyway. I'm going to use, this is a black liquid liner. Now I'm going to just go kind of lining my eyes, but from underneath. Just filling out the gaps really in between sort of the lash line and my underneath inner waterline. I'm not really going along my inner waterline, it's on the edge of that. It's almost like the corner between my inner waterline and where the actual lash line starts. Again, this will just give a thicker lash look. Especially if I'm having my picture taken or anything like that. I just love having a nice kind of, not a really thick eyeliner or anything like that, but I definitely like to have that definition. This is a really good tip if you're getting married as well, just having that depth really at the lash roots. It's great for pictures. So this is kind of like fake eyeliner doing this. It's almost like no eyeliner. Eyeliner, if that makes sense. What's good about it is that if you're not good at doing those perfect lines, the trick with this is to be almost as messy as possible because you're stabbing it. Like the more you stab underneath with that pen, which is actually, this is a really good one, the Grandiose, because it's so fine. The more you kind of get in between those lashes and on the edge of the waterline. And you could use a pencil for sure as well. Anything, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it's like the more you kind of do it, the more you kind of stab around, the better it gets. And then when you get to that inner corner, just to kind of almost go underneath there, into that inner corner, on the inside though. I mean, this just works so well when you're wearing these kind of individual lashes, because you have that lovely lashy look and all of the power of an eyeliner, but without having a sort of major eyeliner. And it's also such a good tip for photography. If you want to look like you haven't got a big strong eyeliner on, you're just wearing sort of mascara, if only. But you have got that impact on your eyes. So I do use this a lot for red carpet and things like that, or weddings, in fact. If you don't want to have a really big, thick eyeliner, it's a really nice way of doing that too. So going back in with the deep purple shade, I'm almost going to do the same thing, but this is just with the powder, of almost just massaging a little bit of the purple into the roots of the lashes. Again, it shouldn't look like a liner. It's more of a defining thing. And then the outer edge there, I'm going to just bring up, go into the corner, and then just slightly swoop up there. Just finishes off the shape. So for my brows now, I'm using the feather pen. Oh, I love this. I love the colour of this. And I also like how much payoff you get with this, the ink. It's not too much, but it's noticeable. You can do such a nice fine brow with it. So I'm just trying to I wouldn't say match my eyebrows up, because I know they say eyebrows are sisters, but mine are distant cousins. They are so different. This one is quite arched, this one is flat, so I can only do I don't want to change them completely, and I think it's part of the character of my face, so I'm just doing some perfecting rather than some tweaking, rather than trying to get them rigidly the same. This one's also got a lot more hairs at the outer edge. I love this as well because it also has the gel on the inside. So you can... It's a great gel as well. It really sets them. Sets them quite hard, but it doesn't leave that white residue. So yeah, so that's my eyes on, and I feel totally different. I feel like if I was having to now walk out in front of people I didn't know, I would come across very confident. I know it's like silly to think that I would need makeup, and why would anyone need makeup for that? And I do think you do need makeup for that, by the way. But I quite like to feel like my eyes just feel so good, and I do enjoy using makeup and applying makeup. So for me, I feel like I look totally different. And probably you're thinking, well, it just looks like you've got some false eyelashes on or some mascara. But if you look at the before, look at me before, and I don't know, maybe you can tell my mood has changed, and my confidence levels are definitely going up. So that's it for me, really. I think just a simple eye makeup, but something that gives me the lash and the socket line, and that just emphasizes my eyebrows, probably are the main things for me. So on to the rest of the face. The next thing I want, of course, is lips, and I do want to give myself a slightly more pouty lower lip. So I'm just going to get a lip liner. Okay, on to lips. I'm just going to apply Velvet Mousse, just in a sort of slapdash way, before I do a little sculpt. I'm using, this is a Victoria Beckham lip liner. I'm just really wanting to cheat. Just on my lower lip. Okay, that's faked it. I'll put a touch on the top. I'm not really going to change the shape here though. And then I'm going to go back in and fill in. And using the same shade on my cheeks. There we go. It's a lovely brush actually for doing cream blush. I'm going to go back in with my Clinique airbrush concealer that anyone who's watched my videos for years know that I used to be crazy about and use for everything. And I still use it quite a lot on myself. I feel like I just need a touch more under there, like it's almost sunk in. So I just want to refresh. I do that a lot with clients as well. Sometimes I'll do all the under eye, and then by the time it's lived in, it's sort of settled in, by the time I get to the end of the makeup, I'll do a touch more. Sometimes I'll use a different product, because by then you can kind of see how the product's reacted and whether there needs to be a bit more of a lift. I don't know, you might need to go a bit peachier or a little bit lighter, or even sometimes a little bit darker. but sometimes you just get that. You can only really tell after a while what's needed. And then I'm just going to pat that in. Almost, I don't really need to set that again because I've put so little on. Just a lift. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit more highlighter. So, a little tiny bit. I'm going to use that in the corner of my eyes. And what's left over, I'll just refresh on my cheeks. And I'm probably going to need a final touch of powder as well. Blend that in with the blush. She's ready for business, this one. She is ready. Where is the powder? I'm going to take this with me. I'm imagining now that I am going to an event. Like, this is it. This is not just my trial run. I'm going to take this by Terry touch-up powder. Just going to go around where I am starting to get a little bit shiny already. Okay. And that, I think, do you know what? I might go over with one clean brush. So just at the end of the eyeshadow and just blend everything again. It's like a security blend. So that's it. That is my fake it till you make it makeup. As I say, this is for me personally. This is a look that I would do if I was having to go, which I am in probably a week or so, to an event when I haven't been to one for so long and having to sort of meet people, and I would feel really good like this because I feel like my skin looks good. It doesn't look too heavy, and I feel like I've got my eyes feel really good. They feel like I'm engaging well with people because they look quite defined, and because there is, particularly for this thing that I'm going to, a photography element. So I feel like my eyes are going to photograph really well as well. And that is the genius of makeup. It just is such a confidence boost. And I think that there is a real magic to it. It's something which is on such a subconscious level. Like, I can't even describe how different I feel from when I started doing this makeup, when I was thinking, you know, my reaction to having to go somewhere was a little bit strange. And I think it's just the pandemic. It's just the result of being at home for such a long time. Has almost made me terrified. But anyway, this is my crutch, my makeup. And as I say, it can be adapted to whatever, you know, particular look that you love doing. And I think just go with your heart, you know, just go with what you really like to wear. Spend your time getting it right. And you almost know when you've nailed it, don't you? You really do. So best of luck, everyone. Do let me know if you're having the same almost, I wouldn't say fear. What's the word? It's not even anxiety. It's something in between of doing real life things again, and also the excitement of it too. And take care, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.